What's up, guys? I totally forget what I said last time would be for me to make another update video. I think it must have been something to do with the map or what have you. But let's check the VOD, shall we? It is currently day 3. You guys can't see it at all. Day 314 of Codename Conqueror's development. And ladies and gentlemen, I give you Codename Conqueror. You might be wondering, oh, it's no different. Oh, cool. It looks no different. Sure, whatever. But, there's so much that happened. It's ridiculous. So here's the map. Here's the map, right? Panning, zooming, everything works fine. I had to construct. I had to get my friend to make every single state individually, so that I can take that image with no background, make it a button, and then fit them together pixel by pixel to make the United States map. So that's why, if you see, look closely, there's like multiple outlines on Maine and like New Hampshire and whatnot, and New England in general. It's pretty visible. It's not focusing. There we go. You can see how it kind of looks like there's an extra layer. Or actually, that was accidental. Like it did that because it's overlaid. So I have a picture. This map is two pictures on top of each other that pan and zoom like cohesively. That was on purpose, yes, because I knew I couldn't have the one image. I couldn't have the one image with different touchable components or different buttons, so I had to make a series of images overlaid on top of each other, like Photoshop. Well, all the images are put together on one canvas of all the buttons, right? And then I overlaid that layer in terms of Photoshop lingo onto the layer of just the picture of the United States, right? And because they weren't exactly aligned, because it was very difficult to do that, I'm impressed I was actually able to do it as well as it did. Because they weren't exactly aligned, you see a little like outline, like an extra layer behind it. But because of this, it achieves like a 3D effect. It sort of looks 3D. And after seeing that, I was like, that kind of looks cool. I'm gonna rock with it. A, don't feel like fixing it. Not nearly, not right now, not ever. That'll be a way later me problem. B, kind of looks cool. Gonna keep it. So, okay, map is done. The buttons took forever. Like it's been, I don't know when the last time I did an update video, probably 3, 4 days. I did so much troubleshooting, so many errors, so many like things went wrong. Anyway, so every state is touchable. And one of the problems was that, say, for example, freaking Virginia was a huge issue. Why Virginia? Because look at the shape of Virginia. The way it works is no picture in history, no picture on the internet can ever be complexly or complicatedly formatted, intermittently formatted, right? They're always a box. The box is perfectly outlining the image. So if you look at Virginia, right, the box that makes up the image is what the software makes the button, and I can't control that. Nobody can control that. Nobody can make a complicated picture and make that a button. The button's always going to be rectangular. If you look at Virginia, if you wrap it around a rectangle as tight as possible, it almost completely covers West Virginia. So the issue I found was that you could never touch West Virginia. Every time I tapped it, it'd always get Virginia, 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 because the hitbox, if you will, the hitbox of Virginia is directly over West Virginia. So I had to put West Virginia above Virginia to make it count. And in terms of Photoshop, it kind of works like Photoshop, where you can order the layers. So I made West Virginia on top of Virginia, but Virginia still covered Maryland. Then there was North Carolina and Georgia that were both suffocating South Carolina. It was a whole ordeal. And then there's whoopsies. There was Florida, with it being the shape it is. If you just touch anywhere in Gulf of Mexico, it thinks that you're touching Florida. So I had to fix so many things. And how does one fix that? Well, you shred every single state, not every single state. You shred all the annoying states into rectangles almost like if you guys are familiar with the mathematics term of an integral or a derivative, is essentially you take the sum. If you want to find the area under the curve, you take an infinite number of rectangles that make up that curve. I did the same thing with this, only a much more limited number, like 5. So we took Virginia and we slashed it into rectangles so that it would be easier, more accurate for the touching to be read. So if I touch West Virginia, if I touch Virginia, then it will actually be the state itself. So for example, you can see like there's that bottom layer or the bottom like line of Virginia. That's one rectangle, and then it stacks like a cake with other rectangles where it wants. So I had to do that for Virginia. I had to do that for Georgia. I had to do that especially for Texas because Texas would have covered an entire and almost all of Oklahoma, a good bit of New Mexico, et cetera, et cetera. So I had to like cut a lot of them. And this wasn't me, thankfully. So my friend was good at editing, so he was able to do it for me. He made it. It wasn't very difficult for him. He just had to like make some boxes and crop it out and just save them as different files. But I had to import the images, size the images, locate like, and then fit them together like a puzzle piece. So it was incredibly tedious. Holy crap, this was the worst thing to do. I thought that applying panning and zooming was annoying. That was difficult, but this was nightmarish. This was the worst. But at long last, every single state was its own button. And now, Codename Conqueror, I'm very, very excited to say, is practically done. The first third of it. We still got all the Smatchy Gboard, the bracket part to worry about. We got all the account stuff to worry about. But in terms of like this the raw idea of it, Conqueror is done. The only step left is to just plug in data. Cause I made a array. For those who don't know, I made a matrix, which is essentially a collection of data for every single state. And this collection of data is very neatly organized, in what we call arrays. And every element of the array is a different property of the state, be it the season, be it the title, the sub-region title, the player's main, the player's like rank, or what have you. Everything is very neatly organized. So much so that applies to every single state. And I found a method to do this. And it wasn't very difficult. It took me about a night because it actually stumped me. And thank God I have this thing, this whiteboard. So I've been doodling for like a long time. I often doodle and then just fall asleep and then wake up, be like, I got it, and then just quickly doodle and quickly write it down. But it was, um, you know what? I'm gonna quickly do it. I'm gonna quickly show you guys what I mean. So this is how complicated one state is. I'm going to give maybe California as an example, just because it has subregions like NorCal and SoCal. But every state is an object. An object, literally, all that means is it's a collection of variables. So x equals 5 and y equals 6. Both of those variables are kept into this object. It's like a container. In this object, there we go. In this object, we have, well, first we have the title of the state. Title of the state. Excuse my handwriting. Title of the state. And then we have another component. So this one's title. And this one is subregion. Not all states have subregions. So some just have the one. So this is an array. An array is also like an object, a collection of different variables, but it's a very complicated reason. I'll tell you later. Anyway, this is an array. Most states are just going to have one subregion, so they just have one array. Or more accurately, yeah, they always have one array. And in this array is another object, so it's a nested object, right? And I just realized I'm going on a huge tangent on the properties of data management on an app probably no one cares about. I'm going to put this away. For a quick summary, in case you're actually interested. So there's a title, prop. I'm gonna speed through with jargon. So there's a in this object we have a title prop and a subregion. Subregions, I made it this way so that if I find out any, I made it so reusable to the point where in the future, if I find out like say freaking North Dakota has multiple subregions I don't know about, I can just add them here with no problem at all. So I made it very like user friendly in terms of like the person actually manipulating the data. Um, the people who actually use the app won't see this at all. Um, the array is just a subregion, and if you only have one subregion, you only have one object here. That's fine. And then every subregion is its own object. Every object contains a few properties, including the PR graphic, which is an array, and every single component of this object is an array, which contain different also objects depending on the season that you're talking about, right? So this whole object is for, say, CFL. Then there's another object for Daytona, another object for Jacksonville, another object for whatever, right? Or this one object for NoCal, and this object is for SoCal. But they're all inside this one array, which is all inside this one object. Now, inside of each object is going to be a list of like values that each have an array dependent on the season. So if it's winter 2019, I need to standardize that so that if it's talking about winter 2019, I need to have everything on the same page. Like, yes, we were talking about winter 2019. That means this guy is rank 5 at winter 2019. I don't care about the rank 5 at spring of 2019, you know? Anyway, that's a huge rant because I like talking about what I want to talk about. Anyway, I'm probably going to delete this video. I don't know. This is going on too long. But anyway, I'll keep it up. Who knows? I might keep it up. Who knows? Video. Okay. I gotta calm down. So, aside from that tangent, Conqueror is done because I can do this. And InfinityCon is this weekend. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm not gonna get off tangent. InfinityCon is this weekend, and I'm commentating and competing in it. So catch me there. Actually, you will not see this in time, but I'm commentating and competing in it. And while I'm doing that, I'm also have the secret agenda of going up to figureheads, as many as I can. Mewtwo King, Hungrybox, Cact, etc., etc. And showing them this and confidentiality as much as I can have, and saying, what do you think of it? What is your feedback? And do you think this is a good idea, whatnot? And say, I'm going to make sure to mention, by the way, there's an events tab here. I'm going to pull off a better Smash GG. Because if they don't believe me, I have this app to show them. And I'm almost there. And hopefully they get hyped. And then I'm going to talk to Panda again and just say, this isn't the beta, this is the pre-alpha. That's why I'm not that excited. If it was like a beta version, I'd be omega excited because this is a beta. A beta has to have this plus the search bar functionality, which I don't have any like player profiles or talent profiles or community profiles or whatever. Like I can't look up Nakat and be like, let me see all Nakat stuff. I can't do that yet because I haven't made his profile. I haven't made any profiles, and then I have to find out how to make a search bar function, you know? I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do any of this. I figured this out. But then Conqueror Beta is going to have all that, as much information as possible just dumped in there. And then it's going to have like the Smash G portion, at least some brackets to look at and some brackets to just mess with offline. So, and then the whole account feature, which I will probably waive the account feature until like very late in its development because yeah, it doesn't really need an account feature. So I'm gonna actually show you now. It's almost been 15 minutes, but this is probably the biggest update that I could possibly have. So it's okay if it goes this long. It's the biggest update I've had. So because my connection, because of InfinityCon, a Florida event, I thought it was a very good idea to include InfinityCon or Florida stuff first. People from Florida to look at Florida stuff. The only downside with this is that because of quarantine, I can only show them stuff from back in winter of 2019. I've only found one piece of data from spring of 2020, which is the latest anybody could have had a ranking because of quarantine lasting from spring to now. So winter was like my cutoff. Winter was like, if you have data from the winter, I'll add you, but anything before that is gone, is no-go. I did cut this list down. I cut the seasons list Oh, you can't even see that. Okay. I cut the seasons list from like the five seasons I had to just three. I think I had six, seven. Anyway, I cut it down to three: spring, winter, fall of the most recent season. So we're gonna look at South Carolina first. That was the first PR I found. That was in spring of 2020. So you select a state, and it brings up this page. And this is what it looks like currently. South Carolina. Notice how it looks very scuffed. That's okay. It's just a beta. It's just a pre-alpha. It's just a proof of concept. Um, I imagine every single one of those text boxes of players are going to be a different button that takes them to their player profile page, etc., etc. But it's got the PR graphic, it's got the players, it's got the title, the state, and I will have the list of locals here for that state. But you can imagine I can't exactly do that right now because there are no locals. I can't list the local if like it's been a year. I know tons of locals, tons of venues that just closed down or are not participating anymore. Not only because of COVID, but because of other reasons that just like maybe they're. I'm pretty sure, like for example, SmackDown. I don't even think CFL SmackDown's a thing. I don't think Mellow Mushroom's a thing. It might be. But I know Juicy's coming back, so I can add Juicy to the monthlies. And yeah. Anyway, so that's something I have to do later. I am doing Florida because of InfinityCon, so it's more relevant to the people here. Because I can't do like, hey, you want to see the stuff in Illinois? Why does that matter to people in Florida? Floridians are very prideful of Florida, except for I can't even say that because typical Florida man. Anyway, but my next objective is there is a big tournament in Riptide. No, excuse me. There's a big tournament in Ohio called Riptide, and it's going to be one of the first majors along with InfinityCon, which technically isn't a major. It's like regional. But for Florida, it's a regional, but for everyone else, it's a major. I should do the same thing I did for Florida for Ohio because I could be like, yo, there's that big event in Ohio. Are you going? Oh, sure. Really? What? Funny you say that because there's a lot of data here you can just look at just by tapping the state. Funny how that works. So we're going to show off Florida, right? Spring of 2020. We're going to tap this. Notice how there is nothing to do in spring of 2020. So all you see here are a bunch of placeholders. And you'll know that when it's dummy data, when it literally just says placeholders and they're all just pictures of Mario. There's a scroll wheel here because Florida has a lot of subregions. So we're going to change this from spring to winter. Now we have winter 2019. We're going to pick Florida. Look at that. We got CFL. We got, I forget what that is. Tampa. I wanted to remember without looking at it. We got all these. Okay, let me just. There we go. There we go. This is going to look prettier, I promise. It's very scuffed right now, very rudimentary. It's not supposed to be very adequate. It's just a pre-alpha, like I said. But we have, every state's going to have its own one little thing. But because some states have a lot of bigger subregions, Florida, Texas, and California, they're going to have separate scroll. Like, you can scroll through all the regions that are included. In the future, I plan on having this as swipeable, right? So you can just, like, almost like Tinder, where you can just swipe through the regions. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to figure it out, but I want to do that so that you can just see the rankings of the players in that region and the locals in that region, and then you can just flick through. Because I don't care about like I don't want to have all the locals listed in one place. Because what if the local is like in Orlando and I'm in Jacksonville? I'm like, that doesn't apply to me. I mean, it might if you travel, but I want to be more convenient. More be like, hey, CFL graphic, CFL title, CFL players. The locals on this page should be CFL. And then I swipe over to Jacksonville and the same thing for Jacksonville. That's going to happen eventually, but I had to I had to go fast and code all of this and research and implement, problem solve, and holy crap, it took so long. And I didn't even get to put the titles, not yet, I didn't even get to put the titles of the subregions. You don't know if that's CFL, you don't know that's Tampa, but I will get there. I will get there eventually. So what does this whole update mean, right? What does this whole thing mean? What am I ranting about? Look at Conqueror's progress. It is good. It's got the map. Every state is its own touchable button. Everything, every state goes into every state. Oklahoma. Every state goes into its own little thing with its own dummy data. Um, of course, then it's literally now just filling in data. I find something on Twitter, like a graphic and the list of players. I add it into the thing. Congratulations, you got a state. That's all it is. That's just filling in data. The next step. So we have this. This is so good. This is so monumental. This is exactly what I thought of Conqueror. Now, like the fact that I could just put in the data and it's there, it's so freaking useful. It's so good. Um, my original objective was the deadline of the first major, the first IRL major. Well, that's gonna be September, Riptide in Ohio. I don't think I'm gonna get there. I thought I was gonna have it till like October, September, October. Oh God, October is the next month. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I can code the entire Smash GG thing. This entire thing took me 30 days. I think like it took me a month, right? Almost a day after I finished school. Uh, so May 5th or so. So it took me about a month to do this one portion of Conqueror, and a lot of it I already knew how to do. A lot of it I already knew how to do. Um, but the main part of it I didn't, so that's fair. Brackets, a lot of it is just form filling out, like here's tag, seeding, etc. Then it's just UI stuff. So it could probably take me the same amount of time, assuming I'm working on it like full time, like I am now. I'm a broke college kid, bro. I've been doing this, and since school, I don't have a job, and I gotta get a job because I gotta pay bills. I don't know why I'm doing this. Because I had such a headache today putting in this data and finally getting to work. And I was like, I should be at a job right now or something, man. Like, what am I doing? The best part, I think the best part of this app is it's reusable, so I can add an extra component for switching games. So I can go to CS:GO, I can just go to like League or something and organize the same thing by state. I don't even know if they do organizing by states, but the best player in Texas. Um, but hopefully this can be reusable for something. It's definitely going on my resume for software development or something. I don't care. It's got to be useful for something. So this is my update. It's like a 25-minute update, but this has been the biggest update for Conqueror yet. It's practically done. It's the main premise, the main reason I did this is because of I want to find out who is ranked what in what state and stuff. And then once I get the search bar, it'll actually be done. So next up is InfinityCon. Well, next up I want to finish up Ohio, so it's more relatable. Go to InfinityCon, commentate, compete, hopefully do well, and hang out with people for the first time in a while. And okay, in the future. So we did that's what we did. We have our current position. Fantastic current position. I just have to like publish it so that people can like test it on their own. Um, I've only ever had one other published version, and it was just literally nothing. It was just the bottom tabs. That was it. So this is the first published functional version of this app. Technically version 2. Where are we going? Okay, so InfinityCon, I'm going to get feedback. I'm going to show people like Mewtwo King, Hungrybox, Cact, a bunch of bigger people about what it is, why I'm doing it, and if they support it. Then I'm probably going to. I was hoping to actually get like a better homepage for events. Like you know how polished this looks, or look how done it looks, and then there's events, which is just a white screen that just says event home, and I haven't even touched it yet. So maybe I can do something there, but I only have a day, not even, because like tomorrow I practice offline with my friends while we wait for our ride for InfinityCon to come up. My nose looks crooked. Yeah, I don't think I have time for that, but it's okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's where we're going. Just more work, work, work. I want a more I want a more specific where am I going, you know? I want a more specific what is the next objective? The next objective is to just pile on data. Pile on as much data as possible. I want Conqueror to be solid before moving on to brackets. To be solid. Because rankings aren't going anywhere for a while. Actually, that's something I shouldn't be thinking about right now. That's a later thing. Yeah. Now I'm just contemplating a lot of things at once. I should stop. That's not for now. That's for after InfinityCon. I should finish up Conqueror, finish up player profiles, try to get player profiles, I should say. Um, and then try to like get something going with the Smash G bracket part, and then talk to Panda. Then talk to other people. I like Panda because I would love to be like a software developer for Panda. Looking at PG stats, I look at their website. I'm like, hey, they could use a mobile app developer. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Imagine being using my technical skill set for an esports team. That's like the best of both worlds, man. That's like, oh, you're a software engineer for an esports team. That's like, because growing up, you're like, oh, I want to be a pro gamer, you know, because everyone's gonna be yelling at, like, all your parents are gonna be yelling at you, like, get a real job. And then the real job is a software developer, for example, but you merged the two. I'm gonna be a software developer for esports. I think that's the best of both worlds. Like, how could you not love that? If you love coding and you love games, like, god dang, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love it. I love coding, and apparently I love coding because I do it a lot. Um, and I love Smash. And if Slippy did it with his passion, so can I. It's been a month. I want to say technically been a month since I've actually been hardcore working on Conqueror. Maybe two. I want to say 3 months if I count the whole learning process of JavaScript and React Native and VS Code. I'm gonna stop talking. I've been rambling on. I'm sorry. Day 314 days here in Codename Conqueror. A beta is coming to an app store near you. Not an app store. It's coming to a link, a DM near you. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed these little update videos, especially the longer ones, which I put. These are all totally improv. Like, I almost thought about scrapping this one after I brought out the whiteboard. I should probably erase that. I totally thought about deleting this. But I didn't want to restart. I didn't want to restart the whole explain the map thing. So I was like, I don't care anymore. Okay. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Until next time. Oh wait, hang on. Before we go, when's the next update video? I don't know. I think that's fun. It's just a little added benefit to say, when is the next update video, or when do you think it will be? I think the next update. I don't know what else I could put. The next update video will either be every single state has its data, has a set of data, like every single state can offer something, or if Conqueror is just done. Like if I have player profiles, a search bar, all the states are filled out, etc., etc. I think I'll definitely have an update video next before I start the events page. I might just make the layout. That might be possible just for like a visual aid, you know, but so it doesn't look ugly for showing people. That might happen. Because come on, I don't want to show them this amazing map and then be like, "Oh, do it." Like that's not cool. That's not cool. That's not. So yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna stop stalling. Until next time.